Hello, everyone, and welcome to my webinar. My name is Kimberly Neal. I'm an SLP who works in the Assistive Technology Department at WIHD in Valhalla. Today, we'll be discussing using voice amplifiers to support individuals with low volume across the lifespan for success in employment and college. When to use an amplifier, positioning, and cost impacts will also be discussed. So, what are voice amplifiers? Amplifiers increase the volume of your voice. A small speaker is usually worn on a belt, armband, lanyard, or on an article of clothing. The microphone can be a headset, a lapel mic that you wear on your clothes, or handheld mic. This microphone can either be wired or wireless. Amplifiers can be personal, portable, handheld, or body-worn systems, or large area sound field, or even public address systems. Why would we use a voice amplifier? Well, speaking can be very fatiguing. People who have no voice problems can benefit. It really eliminates the need to shout or yell, provides better listener understanding. Who could benefit from using voice amplifiers? Again, people with no voice problems can benefit from using an amplifier. You're often talking to a large group in a noisy area. It eliminates that shouting, eliminates straining of your voice. It's also useful for people with a variety of voice problems, such as ALS, Parkinson's, paralyzed vocal folds. Also, it can be useful, which I didn't mention here, for people when you're wearing masks, like during COVID. You know, it's difficult to see your face. It makes understanding very difficult. Voice amplification can help assist in allowing people to better understand you when your face is covered. So this is just a quick video of someone who has ALS wearing a BiPAP mask, and they're speaking with and without amplification. Really, you can see that although his voice is amplified, he's still difficult to understand, but at least the volume is there. So where can you use voice amplifiers? Pretty much anywhere you want to be heard. They can be useful in any setting. You can use them in your home, talking with family, in the office. If you're a teacher in school, they're especially useful. Church, if you're speaking to a large group in church. Anywhere, basically, any event, for one-to-one conversation or for group activities. They're also really helpful for people who have difficulty being heard above engine noise, like in a car or a train. Okay, so there's lots of benefits to using voice amplification. One of the main benefits is minimizing the strain and fatigue when physical conditions make talking a tiring effort. It rests the throat to allow healing or to avoid damage or further damage. You know, once you start talking too much, you lose your voice. It's kind of irreversible at that point, other than resting it. So using voice amplification can help prevent you from getting to that point. Reduces misunderstandings and the need for repetition, another important thing. Makes life more pleasant for everyone, less frustrating for anyone who needs to be heard clearly. Promoting independence in those who would otherwise not speak up. Sometimes people aren't comfortable speaking loudly, so this kind of helps them take charge of their own care and their own life and advocate for themselves. If sometimes you might have a situation where you have a voice problem and your communication partner has a hearing problem, so really voice amplification would be the best of both worlds for that situation. Also helps you hear yourself better. A lot of times during speech therapy, you want to be able to hear yourself so you can practice your speech. Allowing longer phrasing for esophageal and TEP speakers. TEP is a voice prosthesis, so it allows them to speak more slowly and more clearly. Especially helpful for a noisy workplace. It's often, you know, I myself find it very hard to understand people in a noisy room, so that would help someone who has difficulty hearing. Again, poise and self-confidence. Not everybody's comfortable with public speaking and speaking loudly. It's great for audiences at special events, great for lectures and classes, presentations. This is an interesting one. Furnishes a means of easier, non-aggressive crowd control. So, you know, sometimes you're controlling a crowd, maybe you're law enforcement. Using a bullhorn can be aggressive. Using a loudspeaker allows you to not have to scream. All right, so positioning is also very important when you're using voice amplification. It's important when you're using a mic, especially if you have a weak voice, that you keep it close to your mouth. You really want it no more than a 1/4 inch away from your lips. You really want the mic to do the work for you, so you're not talking any louder than normal conversation. The mic is amplifying it. You don't need to, oops, let me go back. You don't need to speak up. The mic should be positioned just at or below the lip line. If you keep it to the side, it really picks up on those like S sounds, and it makes it a little bit more hard to understand you. So if you keep it right in front of you or right below, it makes your voice more pleasant to listen to. You really want to experiment with the mic before a presentation to find your best placement. Many mics sound better if you talk over the top of them. So like it's right underneath you and not directly into it. If it's right below you, that allows the listeners to see your mouth and facial expressions better, which is an important part of any conversation. Again, if your voice is weak, it's really essential that the microphone is very close to the lower lip. It provides the best sound quality, greatest amplification, and the least amount of feedback problems. Okay, positioning. So when you're positioning the amplifier speaker, you want it to face into an open area. You don't want it facing into the wall. You don't want it facing into furniture or a person. If you're in a small room or an elevator, you probably want to turn down the volume, because if you're turning it up, you'll probably have feedback. If you're a user in a wheelchair and you have the amp mounted to your chair, again, when you stop and talk, you don't want the speaker facing the wall or the cabinet. You kind of want it facing an open area. If you have a kind of waist mounted speaker and you're sitting at a table or desk, you may have to move it to the side. You may have to remove it and place it on the table. If you're using a wireless system, the mic and the speaker have to be far enough apart, like several feet. Otherwise, you'll have that feedback when a mic is too close to the speaker. Positioning is also very important for the person doing the speaking as well. You know, when you speak, you don't want to slump over. You want to keep your head erect and your airway open with your shoulders back, which really allows your lungs to fully inflate and produce a louder and clearer voice with less effort. Okay, so here is a video of someone who has ALS who's using a voice amplifier.
One of the reasons why I like the amplifier, it saves my voice energy so that I do not get as tired in the evening. And I need to remind myself more every day to use it more. Because the first reason when I get tired of that, it's because probably exhausted from expending my voice. But with this amplifier, I can talk slower and also not as loud, because the amplification, which is everybody in it.
Okay, he was talking about how he's able to speak more slowly and become less fatigued when he's using his voice amplifier. This is somebody else with ALS discussing using the voice amplification with his wife.
But it's a very important tool for me.
I think he realized that once he was running a meeting at work and he came home just exceptionally exhausted, voice-wise too. And I was like, what? Well, I ran a meeting. Well, didn't you use your voice amp? Well, I forgot. Or it wasn't there. Was it home or something?
It was,
I said, put it, you use it at work. That's when you're going to mostly use it. So keep it at work, you know. So he's been doing, I think
No,
that was
that's
kind of
great.
a realization when he didn't use it, the big difference that it made.
I came home that night, went right to bed.
Yeah, he didn't
It
change his
was an
clothes.
hour
He just
meeting
made it
and I
better.
had to project.
Wow.
It was exhausting.
Exhausting physically for him because he didn't even change. He just laid in bed and slept until morning.
Wow. Well, you know, also, and not to make all of this teachable moments, but I so appreciate your revelation on that, because where you were when I first introduced it is where many people are that I meet. And honestly, trying to help people understand what you're saying is really important.
I think there's a sense that when you use the voice amplifier, you're going to be using it as a crutch all the time and may not have that ability to speak on your own when you want to. So you lose that. Some of these tools are just to enhance the ability you already have. You would not wear your glasses because you need to see. Why wouldn't you use a voice amplifier if it's going to improve your ability to communicate?
And preserve that energy that we talked about. And your example is a perfect one. It sort of wiped you out.
It did.
So
It's surprisingly so. But it was an obvious correlation between projecting for an hour and then being tired.
may I suggest, since I have this sitting here, unless you brought yours,
No,
would you like? Because I realize you're sounding really loud and clear, but you're using a lot of energy, and I don't want to be responsible for you not being able to chat later this afternoon. See, I'm a relentless with this. I just won't give up.
So I think, he made a really good point there about sometimes AAC devices are seen as a crutch, but he made a great point about eyeglasses. If you need your eyeglasses, people don't think of it as a crutch. And you really shouldn't think of these assistive technology devices as a crutch either. It's only helping enhance your ability to be heard and save you from being very fatigued.
but
Okay, this last video that I have here is a woman with ALS, and she really talks about feature matching, which really is just basically looking at the features of a device and trying to match them best with your needs.
Words, microphone, and to speak. That's when I'm in a group setting, but even one-on-one, even at when someone's sitting right across from me, because if I don't have to use as much energy and speak as loudly, I find the voice quality be so much better. I tend to, without the mic, have a much raspier voice, and I also slur my words. And the other thing is, it makes me conscious of slowing down my speech, which helps a lot in terms of intelligibility. You have a pretty large vocabulary, so I like to be able to use that with my family, with friends. So, and I find that my friends and family are very appreciative of my music. They don't judge me or anything. They think it's great. So, good luck.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And so, the amplifier then can be used with a variety of microphones, and this is a microphone of your choice to work with the amplifier.
Right.
Just for comfort.
This is the most comfortable type for me. I tried several, and I landed on this one, and it's wonderful. So that's for different people think different things.
Right, different people need different things. So one mic might work for someone with a weak voice, and someone else might prefer a different mic. Okay, so some key considerations. Sound. So how and where are you planning on using it? What size will the space be? How much background noise will there be? That really will determine what type of voice amplifier you're looking for. It might just be for a one-on-one conversation, or you might be doing, let's say, a horse show where you have to be extremely loud because there's a lot of background noise. Another key consideration is battery life. You know, how long will it last on a full charge? Makes a big difference in the usefulness of a voice amplifier. The majority lasts between 5 and 12 hours on a full charge. You really want to consider how you'll be using it. So if you're using it for a full day of lectures, you're going to need one with a battery life of at least 8 hours. If you're only using it for occasional meetings or quick events, you can get away with a much shorter battery life. You also want to consider how long does it take to fully charge it. You know, if it's only going to last a couple of hours and you want to use it again, it might take hours to charge it. So you really want to consider all of the specifications of the device. You also want to consider how portable it is. If you're using it while you're out and about, you probably want something portable. Even when you're inside, you probably want to keep it on your person, unless it's compatible with a wireless mic. So, you know, generally you would want a fairly small and lightweight one. The majority are about 4 inches, 5 inches, about 2 inches deep, and really weigh no more than a pound. But and when I show you some different ones, you'll see there are some slighter, larger, and heavier ones. Most of them come with a carrying strap. Some you can wear on your belt, so you can easily wear it while you're moving around. So all of these voice amplifiers have some sort of input to receive the sound it amplifies. So they all at least have one, like a small head-sized jack, unless it is wireless. Most of them you could plug an MP3 player in. You could put a pre-recorded speech. Most of them now have like USB ports or SD card ports, so you can have a flash drive. You know, they also function as music players, so there's different uses for a voice amplifier. Okay, so the first kind of voice amplifier I'll show you is the Chatterbox Original. It's medium size. It's kind of at a higher price point of $260, but it's good for a group of 100 people. Can use a variety of mics with it. You see it's a strap, a waist strap, and she's wearing a wired mic with it. It weighs 1 pound and 2 ounces, and it has 14 hours of battery power, which again, that's pretty good. This is a quick video of someone using that Chatterbox.
I'd like to introduce you to the Chatterbox. It's an amplifier that goes around the waist, kind of like a belly bag, and an over-the-ear headset with a microphone that comes in front of my mouth. Right now, I'm speaking, I'm projecting so that you can hear me, and I don't have it on. But now I'm going to turn it on, and you're going to be able to hear the difference. And I'm not even going to project anymore. I'm going to talk normally so that you can hear now how it amplifies. I can hear this. You can still hear this. And it is a wonderful amplification device for people who use their voice a lot. Teachers love this. People who speak at trade shows love it. It's very inconspicuous. You're not tethered to anything. You can move around. Turn around easily, bend, talk this way, talk to the people in front of you, do your cooking, do your teaching, work with the students. It's very comfortable to work with. If you aren't a teacher or a person who goes to trade shows, maybe you are someone who has a very soft speaking voice and others have a hard time hearing you. This is wonderful for that. It's a rechargeable battery pack. The speaker gets plugged in at night. You put it on in the morning and then everyone can hear you at the supermarket, at your card games, when you're socializing, just over the dinner table. Very comfortable to use. This over-the-ear headset is very easy to put on and very easy to take off. And I'm going to do so now. Now I have to project my voice again because the amplifier isn't on. But you can see It's an over-the-ear headset. It's a very thin wire, very light. It has two curvatures that you would put over your ear and the microphone, which then goes in front of your mouth. You have to keep the microphone right in front of your mouth so that it can pick up the noises properly. But it's very lightweight, easy, goes with you anywhere. This is the Chatterbox with the over-the-ear microphone. Now I'm going to show you another microphone that goes with the Chatterbox. This is called the collar microphone. It's kind of like on a gooseneck type thing. I'm going to plug it in. It bends, so I'm going to put it around my neck. Very comfortable, very light. Now I'm going to twist it up so the microphone is again in front of my mouth. Turn it on so that I have full amplification and easy to use. Couldn't be easier. Don't have to worry about a hat or your hair or getting messed up. What you do need to consider though is if you're a teacher and you're working with students and you move around a lot, if you turn your head to the side, the microphone's not going to pick you up. So that's just something for you to consider. But again, this is the collar mic, very easy to work with, very comfortable.
That was great because she showed that not all mics work for every situation. So you really have to experiment to find what's best for you. All right, this is called the Zoe Tech. It's $35.99. It's available on Amazon. It's a much more affordable choice. It includes the voice amplifier, a wired headset, and a boom mic. It has a detachable micro USB cable and a detachable lanyard to wear around your neck. It has a 12-hour battery time, and it's good for a room of about 25 to 100 people. And also it has multiple functions, so it can also play music at the same time as you're speaking, if that's something you would want. All right, so this is the Chatterbox Supersize Model 6. It's a bit more expensive at $385, but it's bigger and louder. Really designed for outdoor events, good for law enforcement, coaches, anytime you need to be heard much further. It has 14 hours of battery use, so it's a little bit more than the others. I have a really quick video of somebody using one right here.
This is how I sound with my natural voice. I just turned on the Chatterbox.
It's not really that big, but it goes far.
I just turned on the Chatterbox. Can you hear the?
Okay. All right, another one at a higher price point. This is very small, it's the size of a hand. It's very portable, and it's especially good for those with soft voice for whatever the reason, Parkinson's or ALS or partially paralyzed vocal folds. It gives you 10 hours with rechargeable batteries, but you can also change it out and use regular batteries in it if so you desire. The last voice amplifier I'm going to show you is called the Windbridge Wireless Voice Amplifier. It is also affordable, $30. It's very small, lightweight, it's wireless. It gives you 8 hours of amplification time on a charge, and it's suitable for about 25 people, so an average size room, like a classroom. And we actually have these, I think we have 2 of them available to demonstrate or to loan at WIHD in Valhalla where I work. So the last thing we'll be discussing is how to purchase. So the majority of these that I've showed you were either available through Amazon or Best Buy. You can Google it. There's many different sites where you can purchase them. You can purchase them directly through the manufacturer. If you have a medical reason, such as impaired laryngeal function, partially paralyzed vocal folds, ALS, Medicare will cover these devices. They cover the cost of them. Usually you would be getting them through your speech pathologist. If you work in a school, sometimes there's grants available for these. Grant writers often will write grants requesting these for their classroom teachers, especially during COVID when they had those masks on their face. Voice amplifiers were a very useful tool for teachers during that time because you have a mask covering your face, your speakers can't really see you, they can't understand you as well. And also it's hard for the speaker to be speaking loud enough and have that breath support behind the mask to be understood. So teachers are big users of voice amplifiers. And finally, you can contact your local assistive technology loan center, such as WIHD, or your speech language pathologist, and ask for a trial of these devices if they have them. So I just want to thank everyone very much for coming to this webinar. If you have any additional questions, please contact me through my email, which was available at the beginning of the seminar. Thank you very much.